Hey everybody, I'm Dan and welcome back to Nocones Garage. On today's episode we're going to do the initial fabrication on seats for our LMP360 project. The seats for this car are going to be built into the chassis permanently. They're not adjustable and are overall similar in size to a 17-inch aluminum raised seat. The aggressive recline and high footbox are similar to the Inspiration LMP cars, and the overall effect is very similar to sitting in a Formula-style car. I considered a poured foam seat, but thought I could arrive at a reasonably attractive and comfortable solution using only the aluminum. In a later episode, these seats will be riveted in, and thin seat covers will be made to finish them. While making the seats, I didn't find myself needing to stop and explain things often, so this video turned out to be mostly a fabrication montage. Some subjects require a lot of words to explain, but others just don't.
So I want to take a few minutes to talk about how I made the templates for the seats and the materials I used. So I'll start with the material I used. So what I used is a product called Builder's Board. It comes in a roll. It's actually designed to be an underlayment to protect flooring during construction products, available at most home stores. It's basically a large roll of the back of a steno notebook, so it's just kind of like a particle type paperboard. I like it because it's thick. It's about the thickness of the materials I use. It can be bent. It marks really nice and clean, and it's pretty cheap. I think the whole roll is about $25 for like 50 feet by 3 feet. So, you can probably get poster board and stuff cheaper, but I just find keeping a roll of this on hand helps with a big project like this. So for the templates, what I started with was I started making a bottom and back template that I used to really work out the shape of the seat, to work out the widths. So these templates, they don't fit anymore because they're a little bit wider than what the finished parts ended up being. But they have, the bends in them, so you can see the material if you just score it lightly or just put it in your sheet metal bender and bend it. It takes bends really well, and it's pretty rigid. So once I had the shape of the bottoms, what I did was I then started up here in these corners, and I basically measured a straight line, and I figured out what size for this piece, a rectangle would be required. And so I started out building a piece like this, and then once I got to where I touched my template here, I found what point touched here, and I just cut that off straight. And so then I was left with this piece. So then I came in here, and my next straight edge was this, so I measured how long that was. And then I took a 90-degree from this edge to figure out how far back the point of this triangle would be and the height of that triangle. And so then I cut this piece and taped it on. And so for each of these shapes, I just continued doing that process of measuring the length of the long side of the triangle, using a 90-degree angle to find where the point would be, and measure where on that long edge that 90-degree was and this dimension. And so eventually I built out a full side template. That's actually that side. So I built out a full side template that laid in like this, and they were actually all in one piece. And so then I was able to take it and decide where I wanted to split it. I actually could have cut it out of one piece of material and just made it an extra bend. This kind of inverse bend that occurs here. Most of these bends are towards the seat, but this ended up being a backwards reverse bend, and I thought it made sense to split it. The other reason I did it was because the material used to make these shapes would be quite a bit more area and a little bit more waste. The percent used would be a little higher, and again, for this project, because it's a grassroots challenge car, the dollars and cents matter quite a bit. So if I was doing it for any other purpose, I would have used this full template like this, and I wouldn't have made this cut. But making this cut made sense because then these nested really well and these nested really well, and it minimized waste. That's going to do it for this episode. Join us next time as we move to the back of the car and continue to work on the rear subframe. As always, thanks for watching.